There are approximately 49 million people searching for jobs on LinkedIn each week, with about 77 job applications submitted every single second. And 87% of recruiters find LinkedIn to be the most effective platform for vetting job candidates. And job applicants with a robust profile on the network are 71% more likely to get a callback for a job interview than candidates that don't have a LinkedIn profile at all. And all of that results in an average of 6 people being hired through LinkedIn every single second. Now, these stats are impressive, but the success and the potential that these stats convey only work if your LinkedIn profile is fully optimized and you're utilizing the platform to the fullest. So today, in this in-depth guide on LinkedIn optimization, I'll go over everything you need to do to fine-tune your LinkedIn profile, and I'll share with you all of the best practices that I've learned in my 18-year career in large tech to ensure that you're completely leveraging LinkedIn's capabilities to the max to put yourself in the best spot for that next job opportunity. Hi, I'm Daniel, and welcome to my channel, where I aim to share everything that I've learned from my 18-year career in large tech. And if you like this type of career development content, then I've got a whole playlist on this topic down below that you can check out after you finish this video. Alright, so let's jump right in. Starting with number 1 on this list, your profile picture is extremely important on your LinkedIn profile. Statistics show that LinkedIn members with a professional photo receive far more engagement, 21 times more profile views, and 9 times more connection requests than those without. Now, you might be thinking, of course that's true, but I don't have the time or the money to go get a professional photo taken, so what am I supposed to do? Well, not to worry, because I've got some good news for you. It's actually pretty easy to get a crisp and professional looking headshot for your profile using only your smartphone. Here, I'll show you how. The very first step here, of course, is to dress the part. You'll want to wear something that's business casual, which means it's formal enough to go to a job interview, but also casual enough to be everyday office wear. A business casual blouse or a nice collared shirt and a jacket should do the trick. Now, once you've got your fit down, there's actually 2 simple items that you need beside your smartphone in order to take a self-portrait. The first is this cheap cell phone holder so that your phone can sit in an upright position. Then you need a simple light stand to get your phone to the right height. Both of these items are cheap and easy to procure on Amazon. Next, you'll need to find a good location where you have a nice backdrop. A nature or professional office location usually works best. I chose to drive out to our local shopping mall area where there's this nice artificial waterfall structure next to the mall entrance. Now, once you're at your selected location, you'll want to make sure that you choose a good angle and also position yourself to stand with a little bit of separation from you and your background. At least 4 to 5 feet of distance. This will help us achieve a good blurry background effect that's present in most good headshots. Now, make sure your stand and cell phone holder are securely positioned, and if you have an iPhone, this would be the time to put it into portrait mode. And then set a timer and walk into the center of your frame. Turn your body to a slight angle, but keeping your head straight, and then look away for a split second, and then turn and smile. This process gives you a more natural look. And then of course, wait for the picture to be taken. Now, if you've used an iPhone and you took your picture in portrait mode, you should have an image similar to this, where the background is already blurred for you. If that's the case, then you're good to go. You can use this image as is for your LinkedIn profile. However, if you don't have an iPhone with this feature, or you want to change the background to a different design or color, then the next couple of steps are for you. The first thing you'll want to do here is go to Google and type in Adobe Express Free Background Remover, and it'll take you to Adobe's Background Remover tool. Once there, simply upload your photo and wait for the system to process it. Now, once it's uploaded, the tool should open up into this dashboard that has a lot of robust features on editing your image. But the very first thing that we need to do here is resize the image so that it focuses on the head and shoulder areas of the picture. Kind of like this. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Now, amongst the different features that this tool has, we're really just interested in this change background feature right here. So when you click on that, it gives you a whole slew of different background options that you can choose from. You can choose this really colorful one, or this fancy light stream one, but for a profile pic, a solid color gradient is best, kind of like this one. Yeah, this gray one looks pretty decent. Although one thing I don't like here is that the gradient is a bit too grainy, right? I don't like how strong this texture is. Well, not to worry, because if you click on the background, you can actually edit the parameters of the background image itself. With these sliders, you can lighten it, darken it, sharpen it, etc. And you can even add a little bit of blur to it to soften the texture of the image. Yeah, that seems about right. Also, if you click on your own image, you can actually adjust this one in the same manner with the sliders on the right as well. So maybe we'll lighten this a little bit and bring up the shadows just a tad. Okay, I'm actually pretty happy with this. So now, all we have left to do is just download the image. And there you are. Our profile image is finished. Now you're almost done with the imagery portion of your LinkedIn profile. But if you go to your homepage, you'll notice that in addition to the profile image element, there's also a background banner section in this area. But don't worry, this one's easy to complete. Simply go to a free stock photo site like Pexels or Unsplash and search for a background photo that would be a good representation of your personal brand. Cityscapes are a good choice, so if I lived in New York City, I might choose something like this. Then all you have to do is upload both onto your profile page. And there you go. Nice, the profile is looking professional already. Now once you've got your imagery set, the next most important element to focus on is your title. Your title is your initial brand statement, as well as one of the most important SEO factors in your profile. You've got 220 characters to use in this area, which is roughly about 30 to 50 words typically, so every single word here counts. And the structure of your headline should include your main title, amplifiers of that title, and then any critical keywords that you want to be known for and searchable for. Let me show you an example of how I would write it for my Daniel's Brew LinkedIn profile. So the first thing is to start out with what your industry title is and what domain or segment you work in. Then you'll want to include any areas or subjects that you specialize in and want to be discoverable for. These are what I call modifiers. For me, it's career development and personal finance. And lastly, you'll want to include any accomplishments or any other key concepts or aspects that might set you apart from the other people that may show up alongside you in a search result. In this case, for me, what sets me apart from a lot of other career content creators out there is my 18 years of large tech leadership experience. I've also grown a small audience here on YouTube that would be good for me to note. Oh, and one other thing. Your headline should read from the perspective of a recruiter or a potential hiring manager. So you'll want to omit things like open to new opportunities or seeking new roles, etc., or anything else that might detract from what a potential hiring team might be searching for. Phrases like seeking new jobs or opportunities aren't as helpful from a searcher's perspective, so it's better to use that character count on other additional keywords that might make you more discoverable. After all, this section is all about the keywords that make you more searchable and ultimately more clickable, so that you appear more frequently to potential recruiters, get more contact requests, and more LinkedIn in-mails asking you if you're interested in an open position. Your About section is your chance to provide a brief summary of who you are and what skills and capabilities you have to your readers. As a best practice here, you'll want to write a brief 4 to 5 sentence overview of your background, your personal professional values, and your core competencies, followed by a short bullet list of your most important skills. Remember, this area also plays a role in your searchability, so you'll want to make sure that you also incorporate the keywords you want to be visible for in this section as well. Luckily for us, with the advent of ChatGPT, completing your About section in your LinkedIn profile is as easy as ever. Here's how you do it. First, log on to ChatGPT and give it the following 3 prompts. 1. Act as if you're an experienced resume writer. 2. Read the following resume and provide a career summary highlighting key accomplishments. 3. Limit to 800 characters. Then paste your resume in the tool and wait for it to generate a response. Now, this sounds pretty good, but you'll also want to look over this draft to ensure that your keywords are properly incorporated into this. So we'll make the following diction changes here. Cool, looks like this paragraph is done. Next, you'll want to brainstorm and list out all of your key skills in bullet form below this to increase the SEO and also showcase the different capabilities that you have. And there you go. The About section here is complete. In this section, one of the things I see most in other people's profiles is that people tend to put their entire resume content into this section. That's not what this section is for. This section is meant to be a quick timeline of your past experiences with just enough detail for the reader to get the gist of your work history and incent them to want to know more details about you. It's like the previews to a movie. It's designed to draw you in and make you actually want to go and see the movie. In this case, that movie being a connection request to touch base and see your full resume. So I'd recommend writing out in detail your job title section, including what org and department you worked in, but then only adding one quick sentence that highlights your top-level job responsibilities and your most impactful contributions in the role. This gives the reader just enough to understand the overview and scope of your role and what impact you've had thus far. And if done right and written compelling enough for them, they'd reach out to you for a connection and to learn more about your body of work in each of those roles. You want to be detailed enough in this section to pique the interest of a recruiter for a relevant job opportunity, but not too detailed to the point where you might get summarily passed over for an open role if there's something specific written in there that a recruiter feels isn't a match for their position. Don't let the description of your job here weed out your potential opportunities. Let your initial conversations with the recruiter when they reach out make that determination for you. Next, your network and affiliations will help you amplify your searchability and bolster up the gravity of your profile. The easiest way to build up your affiliations is to join LinkedIn groups and follow companies and influencers that you have interest in. To do so, you just go up to the search bar at the top and simply click on or follow the join button under the entities that show up under your search results. Additionally, to grow your network, make sure you reach out to your colleagues and contacts to request a connection. And the North Star that you want to aim for here is having 500 or more connections. Because once you have over 500, LinkedIn shows you as having 500 plus connections, which is what all the most robust profiles show. But one important note about reaching out to your connections, if you're a job seeker, make sure you request connections mostly from people that you actually know. The real strength of your network comes from the relationship capital that you have built within the people in your network. So if your LinkedIn profile is only a collection of random people you've never met before, the tensile strength of your network will be really light, meaning you'll have a large network in number only without a lot of advocacy in that web. So it's important to also keep in mind the quality of your connections as you build up to that 500 plus number. Also, as an extension of this, you'll want to further leverage the strength of your network by gathering recommendations from your contacts that you've had positive work relationships with. Most people have between 6 and 10 recommendations on their profile, so to stand out, try to gather at least 15 to 20 recommendations over the course of your career if you can. One of the best times to request recommendations is either right after you work with this person to complete a big project or initiative, or when you leave a particular job or company in which you've worked closely with this person. And when you request a recommendation, the right way to request it is to ask them to write it with the following guidelines. First, ask them to highlight the context or background of your work relationship. For example, I collaborated with Daniel at Company XX to launch a mini-series on how to optimize your LinkedIn profile for young working professionals in the tech industry. Then, ask them to highlight a key success of the project or initiative that you both contributed to. Our partnership helped to provide 5 actionable modules that drove significant engagement for our members' profiles. Lastly, ask them to share a standout trait or ability that they noticed in your work. I was particularly impressed with Daniel's work ethic and his ability to meet our seemingly impossible deadline. His contribution was the key factor in launching our mini-series on time. See, this format gives the reader a clear view of the nature of your work relationship, how you partnered together in the actual instantiation of your work, and what specific value you brought to the table. And when a hiring manager is looking to make a final offer decision, a well-written recommendation may be the clinching factor if you happen to be neck and neck with another qualified candidate. Lastly, here are the privacy, public settings, and administrative tasks that I'd recommend you complete in your profile in order to polish up your LinkedIn presence. First, if you go to your Add Profile button, it'll open up a list of other profile sections that might be useful for you to fill out. In addition to what we worked on earlier in this video, completing your education and skills section would be really beneficial. Also, if you have licenses, certificates, or additional trainings that you'd like to highlight, you can do that here in the recommended section. And lastly, this additional section has places where you can note any publications that you've written for, or any patents or other notable awards and honors that you've received. Next, you'll want to review your public profile. First, you'll want to edit your custom URL to something that's friendly and easy for readers to remember. Then, when you click here to make your profile visible, you have the option to decide which elements of your profile you want to make visible for those that find you via search. Just remember, the more you activate, the more it contributes to your searchability. So if you're currently seeking a new role, it might be worth turning on all of these buttons. And lastly, in the settings and privacy section, there are a few things that you'll want to review in the visibility tab. First, in profile viewing, there are 3 options that you can choose from. Name and headline, which means when you look at someone's profile, your picture, full name, title, and industry will show up to them in their Who's Viewed Your Profile page. Or private profile characteristics, which generalizes your profile details. Or private mode, in which you'll appear in that person's Who Viewed Your Profile section as simply a LinkedIn member, with no additional information about you being shared to them. Now, it's important to note, however, that if you have a basic LinkedIn account and choose to browse in private mode, you actually won't be able to see who's viewed your profile either. Unless that is, you have a paid premium account, in which case you can browse in private mode and still see the list of people who's viewed your profile in the last 90 days. Next, in email visibility, you can also set which cohort of LinkedIn members can view your email address. While you don't want your email out there for just anybody to see, if you're actively seeking new roles, it might be beneficial for at least your first and second degree connections to be able to see this on your profile. Then you have this bottom section that shows visibility of your LinkedIn activity. The first one here is active status, which lets you decide which cohort of LinkedIn members can see that you're currently active on LinkedIn. It's kind of like that status indicator on your Microsoft Teams or Zoom's profile that shows green for active, yellow for idle, etc., etc. I usually keep this hidden on my profile. Next is sharing profile updates. If you toggle this on, whenever you make an update about your job description, your profile summary, title, etc., it'll broadcast to your network's feed that you've made this update. So if you're revising your profile because you're job seeking and you don't want anyone to know that, you might want to turn this feature off. And that's it. While there are far more than just those settings that you can adjust in your profile, in my opinion, these are the most critical things that you'll need to review to ensure that your LinkedIn profile is fine-tuned. Alright, so I know that was a lot of information at once, but I hope you found it valuable, and that you've learned some really good tips on how to enhance your LinkedIn presence to become more discoverable to potential job opportunities in the future. And if at any time you need to come back and reference this video again, simply like and save this video in your playlist like this for easy access later. And now that you know how to fine-tune your LinkedIn profile, be sure to check out this next video on the top 6 real interview questions from big tech companies, so that you can bolster your preparation process as well to help you crush your next job interview. Alright, so with that, thanks for joining me today on Daniel's Brew, and good luck out there.